Have you ever seen a woman in her 70s walking slowly through the park, a warm cup of tea in her hand, her eyes quietly sparkling, and found yourself wondering, how is she still radiating that calm, effortless joy? No miracle, no luxury brands, no secret formulas. What makes her glow is something far more subtle, a set of silent but powerful habits that few people ever notice. At an age when many begin to fear time, there are women learning how to slow down, live sincerely, and live deeply. They're no longer chasing youth, but instead choosing to befriend the present version of themselves. Every morning, they wake not just to start a new day, but to honor the gift of another sunrise. Every meal is not just for nourishment, but a quiet thank you to the body that's still carrying them forward. And every smile, every small act is a gentle punctuation mark in the poem of a life truly lived. Yellow Heart in today's video, Healthwise for Seniors, invites you to explore 12 simple yet profound habits, drawn from the daily lives of joyful women in their 70s and beyond. There are no grand promises here, but Gio believes even one of these practices could shift the rhythm of your soul. Backhand index pointing right if you're ready for a lifestyle not focused on being younger, but on being more true to who you are. This journey is for you. Bed Chapter 1, Making Your Bed, a small ACT with a big attitude. Happiness doesn't always come from big, life-changing events. Sometimes, it begins with something as simple as making your bed. Each morning, when the first light sneaks through the window, the happiest women Gio has met don't reach for their phones. They don't rush into breakfast prep. Instead, they gently smooth out the blanket, straighten the sheets, and fluff the pillows. With care, with presence, and with self-respect. It sounds simple, but it carries weight. It's the decision to own your day. Barbara Sher, renowned author and life coach for women over 60, once said, "You don't have to control the whole world. Just control your bed in the morning, and you'll find everything else begins to feel more manageable." She was right. When you make your bed, you're sending a message to your brain. I'm ready. Ready to live with intention, whether the sky turns cloudy or your heart feels a little heavy. Naval Admiral William McRaven, in his book Make Your Bed, emphasized, "If you want to change the world, start by making your bed." Because on days full of challenges, you'll know at least one thing was completed, and it started right in your own room. Yellow Heart for women in their 70s, making the bed isn't about tidying a mattress. It's about tidying the heart. It's clarity among old memories. It's a declaration, I deserve a clean, peaceful space, even if no one visits today. Backhand index pointing, right, you can start tomorrow. It doesn't have to be perfect, just a little more intentional than yesterday. And as your hands smooth the blanket, you might just feel a soft peace returning to your soul. Droplet Chapter 2, A Warm Cup of Water, Beginning with Love. It sounds so simple, it's easy to forget. A cup of warm water in the morning. But for women who live mindfully after 70, it's not just a habit, it's a quiet act of self-healing. After a long night, your body doesn't need coffee or news headlines. It needs gentleness. Just a stream of warm water slowly waking up every sleepy cell, as if you're whispering to yourself, "Good morning, body. Thank you for staying with me today." Droplet, the happiest women Gio has seen start their mornings with warm water, sometimes a slice of lemon, sometimes a spoon of honey, not for beauty, but to listen to their body. This simple drink becomes a sacred moment, a bridge between the dream world and the waking day. Louise Hay, founder of Hay House and a spiritual guide to millions, once shared, I drink warm water each morning to thank my body for everything it's endured, survived, and still continues to carry. And maybe, by caring for yourself in even the smallest ways, you're already granting yourself the right to live kindly. A study from Mayo Clinic showed that warm water in the morning not only improves digestion but uplifts mood, helping the body feel welcomed. Isn't it beautiful? When you welcome your body, it quietly welcomes you back. Backhand index pointing right tomorrow morning before you turn on the TV or check your messages, take 2 minutes to prepare a warm cup of water. Sit down, hold the cup with both hands, sip slowly. Not because you have to, but because it's a gift from you to you. Yellow heart because love always begins with the smallest acts, as quiet and comforting as warm water. Chapter 3. Step into the sunlight, touch the life still within you. Happiness isn't some distant destination. Sometimes, it's simply found in letting the morning sun brush across your skin. Like a silent hug from the universe, whispering, "You're still here, and you're still alive." After 70, some women retreat into quiet rooms, avoiding noise, light, and the constant change outside. But others, slow and steady, step out onto the porch each morning, tilt their faces toward the sun, and treat it like a sacred ritual to awaken their spirit. Morning sunlight isn't just vitamin D, it strengthens your bones. It helps you sleep better. But beyond all that, it offers connection. Connection to the trees, to the earth's rhythm, and most importantly, to yourself. May Musk, the mother of billionaire Elon Musk and a model in her 70s who once graced the cover of Vogue, swears by her daily ritual. A simple 10-minute walk in the morning sun, her secret to inner youth. No gym. No expensive creams. Just a step outside and a dose of living light. Gio knows not everyone has a garden or a nearby park, but even a small balcony, a sunny doorstep, is enough to place a chair, sit quietly, close your eyes, and take a deep breath. Just 5 minutes can ease a crowded mind and lift the weight from your heart. Yellow Heart, a study from Harvard Medical School, found that exposing yourself to natural sunlight for at least 10 minutes a day can increase serotonin, the hormone that brings calm and happiness. In other words, the sun doesn't just warm your skin, it gently brightens your soul. Backhand index pointing right tomorrow morning if you feel tired, if your knees ache or your body resists. Remember this: I don't step outside to change the world. I step outside to remind myself I still belong to it. Because sometimes, letting the sun softly touch your forehead is enough to warm your whole heart for the day. Writing Chapter 4. Write a line to record release and love yourself again. There's a truth only those who have lived long enough truly understand. Memories don't always live in your mind. Sometimes, they hide in the things you never dared to write. And when a woman over 70 picks up her pen, it's not just to journal. It's a homecoming, a return to her most honest self. Fountain Gia once met a woman in Florida who wrote a single sentence in her notebook every morning. "Today, I'm still alive, and I'm still grateful for." That's all, no deep philosophy, no poetic phrasing. But each word was a quiet nod to life, a gentle whisper, "I don't want to just survive today. I want to live it with meaning." Your writing doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't need perfect grammar. It just needs to be real. And in that realness, you'll slowly find the pieces of yourself again. The roles you carried, the losses you endured, the love you gave. Book Psychology Today once shared research showing that journaling helps older adults improve memory, reduce anxiety, and increase positive emotions. especially when writing about gratitude. You begin to retrain your mind to notice beauty, even on quiet or lonely days. Light bulb Oprah Winfrey, a living symbol of mindfulness, shared that she's kept a gratitude journal for over 20 years. Each day, she writes 3 things she's thankful for. Writing it down reminds me I lived a kind day. And tomorrow, I get another chance to do it again. You don't need to write a full page, just a single line. Today I smelled that familiar coffee aroma. Today my grandchild's laughter filled the room. Today my legs didn't hurt like yesterday. Yellow heart each sentence becomes a soft punctuation mark in the music of your life. A quiet reminder, I've been here, and I have the right to record what belongs to me. Backhand index pointing right tonight before you go to sleep, pick up your pen. Not to complain, not to explain, just to look back like holding your own wrinkled hand and gently whispering, thank you for still being here. Whole, present, and beautifully real. Chapter 5. Move your body, awaken the life that's been sleeping. After decades of loving, serving, and sacrificing, the body may slow down, stiff, aching, tired. And yet, strangely, it never forgets how to move. It's simply waiting for a gentle invitation from you to come back to life. A 74-year-old woman once told Gia, I don't dance because I'm strong. I dance to remind myself that I'm still alive. Movement doesn't have to mean structured exercise or complicated workouts. For women past 70, it can be a slow waltz in the kitchen, a gentle stretch by the window, or just a playful flick of the wrist when an old song starts to play. And in those simple movements, something unlocks, energy that time had quietly tucked away. Light bulb Jane Fonda, the fitness icon of the 1980s, now in her 80s, still inspires millions with her message. We don't stop moving because we grow old. We grow old because we stop moving. According to the National Institute on Aging, light daily movement improves circulation, supports joints and muscles, and significantly boosts mood. Especially for older adults who often experience loneliness or isolation. You don't need to jog, you don't need fancy yoga. Just walk around your home with your favorite song playing. Step outside to pick a few mint leaves. Stand before the mirror, gently roll your shoulders, and smile. Yellow heart, when you move, you're whispering to every cell in your body. I still have a role to play. I still have love to give, and I have never stopped being myself. Backhand index pointing right today. Try playing that old song you used to secretly sway to in the kitchen. Let your hands remember the rhythm. No one's watching. No one's judging. Just you and your body celebrating the joy of being awakened. Because life is still here. And so are you, not just to exist, but to dance with yourself. Person Female Chapter 6. Sit still and breathe when happiness doesn't need to be chased. Have you ever asked yourself, when was the last time I simply sat down just to breathe, not out of exhaustion, not in a rush, but to breathe intentionally, mindfully, lovingly? After 70, time may feel slower, yet paradoxically, the mind grows louder. Old memories stir. Quiet worries sneak in. Even silence can feel deafening. And while many search for ways to fill that space, there are women who choose something different. They sit still, and they begin to breathe. Sharon Salzberg, one of America's most respected meditation teachers, once said, when you breathe consciously, you're telling yourself, I am safe enough to be myself. That's the power of a slow, gentle breath. A letter to inner peace, written after decades of rushing, giving, and surviving. You don't need to be a monk. You don't need bells, candles, or the perfect space. All you need is 5 quiet minutes. Sit on a chair or a mat, close your eyes, feel the air enter and leave your chest. Breathe in and remember you're still here. Breathe out and let go of what no longer needs to stay. Brain Harvard Health Publishing notes that just 10 minutes of deep breathing meditation per day can significantly lower cortisol, the stress hormone, improve focus, ease chronic pain, and support deeper sleep, especially in older adults. So yes, simply breathing mindfully gives your body a priceless gift, a medicine that costs nothing but heals everything. Yellow Heart Gia once heard a woman in Oregon say, "I don't remember much anymore, but I do remember that whenever I breathe deeply, I feel myself return." And maybe that's the most beautiful part, coming home without needing to go anywhere. Backhand index pointing right, so if today your heart feels messy, just sit still. Close your eyes, place your hand over your chest, and count your breaths, not to do anything, not to achieve anything. Just to remember that you're still alive and deeply real. Because sometimes, in the chaos of life, all we really need is a quiet moment to hear the sound of our own soul. Chapter 7. Create a beautiful space around you, because you deserve to live among beauty. Have you ever stepped into a room and suddenly felt lighter? Not because it was fancy, but because it was warm. Maybe it was the soft lighting, a small vase of flowers by the window, an old chair, simple, clean, and lovingly arranged. For women in their 70s who live with joy, they don't need mansions. They choose to live with beauty. Not the kind you show off, but the kind that quietly nourishes your soul. Herb, a reading nook bathed in sunlight. Blossom, a wildflower bouquet arranged by your own hands. Candle, a tablecloth that brings back memories of your younger years. Framed, a family photo, perfectly framed on the wall. These small details become the emotional walls that hold them up each day. Light bulb Iris Apfel, America's 100-year-old fashion icon, once said, "I dress beautifully and live beautifully, not to impress, but because my soul deserves that respect." And that's true of your living space, too. When you care for your home, you're sending a message to yourself. I am still worthy of love. According to a study by the University of Minnesota, older adults who live in well-kept spaces with natural light, greenery, and calming colors experience significantly less depression and loneliness. Gia once met a woman in San Diego who lived alone, yet changed the water in her flower vase every day. Gia asked, "No one's visiting. Why do you keep doing that?" She smiled and said, "I do it for myself. I'm an important guest too." Yellow Heart, that's the message Gia wants to leave with you and every viewer of this video. You don't need someone else to make your space beautiful. You are the most worthy reason for every corner of your home to feel warm and alive. Backhand index pointing right, so today, try something small. Change your pillowcase. Place a potted plant on your windowsill. Hang a photo that brings you joy, or simply wipe down your table with tenderness. Because the space you live in is a mirror of your inner world, and you deserve to see yourself reflected in something beautiful every single day. Telephone Receiver Chapter 8. Talk to someone because we still need each other. At a certain age, silence begins to feel less like peace and more like loneliness. After 70, there are days when no phone rings, no one knocks, no dinner gatherings, no packed schedules, just the ticking of the clock and the quiet voice inside your chest. Herb, but you know what? The happiest older women Gio has met, they don't wait. They pick up the phone. They send the first message. They reach out, even with just a few words. and in doing so, they keep the thread of connection from going cold. Older adult, a woman in Boston once shared with Geo, "I made a list of 5 people. Every day I call one. Not to complain, just to ask, what made you smile today?" She said the answers were usually simple, but the feeling of being remembered, it was deeply, deeply powerful. Light bulb, according to the AARP Foundation, over 1/3 of older adults in the U.S. experience chronic loneliness, a deep disconnection from meaningful relationships. But just 1-2 conversations a day, through a call, a message, or a video chat, can dramatically reduce the risk of depression and cognitive decline. You don't need deep conversations. You don't need big stories. Just a hello, a kind question, a voice that says, "I see you." Yellow Heart Geo has always believed people don't really grow old, as long as they still have someone to love and someone who listens. Backhand index pointing right. So today, pick up the phone. Call your old friend, your younger sister, or simply call your grandchild and say, "I just wanted to hear your voice." Not for any reason, just because you want to keep that string between your hearts from ever breaking. Because in the end, life isn't measured by how many years we live, but by how many times we truly touched someone's heart. Chapter 9. Do something creative with your hands, because the heart knows how to heal itself. There are days when your heart feels like a messy room, tired, heavy, and you don't even know where to begin. Some people write to tidy up their soul. Others talk it out. And then there are those who simply sit down and begin to knit a scarf. When you do something with your hands, you're doing something kind for your heart. You don't have to be an artist. You don't have to be good. You just have to be real. Gia once spoke with an elderly lady in Maine who painted watercolors every afternoon. Not for exhibitions, not for others to see, but because each time she painted a leaf, it was her way of saying thank you to nature for not forgetting her. Some women embroider. Some bake. Seedling some plant flowers, take photos, make scrapbooks, sew tote bags, or write little poems. Yellow Heart not for the world to praise, but to hear their own voice more clearly. According to the American Journal of Public Health, hands-on creative activities like painting, handwriting, or gardening can significantly reduce stress, increase dopamine, and slow memory decline in older adults. Light bulb Georgia O'Keeffe, the legendary American painter, was still painting at age 98. She once said, "I don't paint to create art. I paint to see myself more clearly." And that's exactly what joyful women over 70 are doing, using their hands to sketch the soul's image, not flashy, but truly beautiful. Backhand index pointing right. Today, choose something small for your hands to do. Plant a sprig of lavender, mend an old shirt, fold an origami crane, or even just doodle with colors. No goal, no reason, just let your hands do something gentle for your spirit. Because in a world full of noise, silence and creativity are the 2 sacred paths that lead you back home to yourself. Deciduous Tree, Chapter 10. Step into nature and let life embrace you. When was the last time you walked barefoot on grass? Listened to the wind whisper through the leaves? Stared closely at a wildflower blooming, not for anyone, but simply because it was time? Nature has never left us. But sometimes we forget to return to it. The happiest women Geo has met after 70 don't need to hike mountains or travel far. They just need a garden patch, a row of trees, a sunny afternoon to sit and breathe with the earth. They know that nature isn't just a view. It's a mirror reflecting their own spirit. When trees bloom even after a harsh winter. When rain falls, gently even if no one is waiting. When flowers bloom in places no one looks, then your heart, too, has permission to heal, and permission to bloom again. Sunflower, an elderly woman in Oregon, visits her backyard sparrows every day. Geo asked, "How do they respond?" She smiled, "They keep coming back." Light bulb research from the Yale School of the Environment shows that just 20–30 minutes of daily contact with nature, even sitting in a park or caring for plants, can reduce cortisol levels, improve mood, lower blood pressure, and boost immunity in older adults. Yellow Heart Mary Oliver, the Pulitzer-winning poet, once wrote, "Go out into the world and let it hold you." It's that simple. No goals, no deadlines, just a gentle return to your most natural self, being a part of this great living, breathing world. Backhand index pointing right. So tomorrow, if the sun is kind, open your window a little earlier. Water a potted flower. Sit under a tree and listen to the leaves. Or simply walk slowly around the block with soft eyes and an open heart, not to exercise, but to remind yourself, I am still a part of this world and this world still needs me. Chapter 11. Give something away when you no longer need much to feel complete. After a lifetime of saving, giving, keeping, accumulating, there comes a quiet realization. True happiness often begins with letting go. And in that gentle release, there is a gift more precious than any possession. The gift of giving, not out of duty, not for recognition, but simply because your heart is already full. The happiest women over 70 that Geo has ever met don't wait until they're wealthy to give. They share a homemade cake with a neighbor who just lost her husband. They pass down an old winter scarf to their granddaughter. They write a thank you note to the nurse who gave them a gentle injection. And from these tiny acts, they start a quiet current, a gentle wave of kindness. Light bulb Melinda Gates once said, "You don't need millions to change the world. You just need a heart and the willingness to use it." Books research from the University of California, Berkeley shows that acts of giving, even small ones, release endorphins, the body's natural, happy hormones. They reduce stress, increase longevity, and give seniors a stronger sense of purpose. Yellow Heart, a woman in Michigan, once told Geo, "I don't have much energy anymore, but I can still bake, fold towels, write poems, and I send them out. I never know who receives them. But when I give, I no longer feel left behind." Backhand index pointing right today, try a small act of giving. Write a short handwritten note to an old friend. Bundle up some gently used scarves to donate, or simply smile at a stranger, as if you're handing them a little glowing candle. Because living beautifully doesn't mean having more. It means sharing what you have with gratitude in your heart. Crescent Moon, Chapter 12. Reflect on your day with gratitude and a peaceful heart. At the end of the day, when the lights soften and the house settles into the hush of evening wind, there comes a sacred moment, one that only those who have lived many years truly understand. It's the moment you sit quietly with yourself, not to judge, not to complain, but simply to give thanks. Thanks for still being here. Thanks for having lived today fully, even if tired. Thanks for what you gave, for what you received, and for the chance to try again tomorrow. The happiest women over 70 don't try to count how much they accomplished. They simply ask themselves before sleep, what made me smile today? Was there a moment that reminded me I'm still beautiful, even if no one noticed? These gentle questions, more than any prayer, become the golden threads that carry them through the night. Yellow Heart Geo remembers an elderly woman once saying, "I once had a whole family. Now I just have this room, but I still give thanks every night that I remember my name, that I can smell the jasmine at my window, that I can hear the sparrows calling outside. That is enough. According to the Greater Good Science Center at UC Berkeley, the simple habit of evening gratitude, whether written or reflected upon, improves sleep quality, soothes the heart, and fosters emotional balance the next morning. A gentle, lasting vitamin for the soul. Backhand index pointing right tonight before turning off the light, ask yourself, what warmed my heart today? Then let your heart answer freely, no pressure. Because sometimes, simply looking back on your day is the most courageous and tender act of all. Ending, a gentle invitation to stay a little longer. You've just walked through a journey of 12 habits, not to become better or perfect, but to simply be kinder to yourself. Maybe you've already embraced a few of them. Maybe you're still hesitating at some. But here's the beautiful truth. If you're still here, reading these words, it means your journey back to your own light has already begun. This isn't about drastic change. It's about taking a little more time each day to love the forgotten corners of yourself, calling your own name with softness, remembering that age doesn't erase beauty, it just asks you to slow down enough to truly feel it. Before you leave, Geo gently invites you to reflect on 3 little questions. Which of these 12 habits made you smile the most? Is there one you used to do but somehow left behind and now want to try again? And if you could add one habit of your own to this list, what would it be? Backhand index pointing down, share your thoughts in the comments. Because maybe your story is the healing someone else is quietly waiting for. Movie camera, if this video touched you in any way, please subscribe to Healthwise for Seniors. Bell and turn on the bell so you'll never miss a moment of calm, wisdom, and gentle encouragement. Yellow heart, thank you for staying until the end. And remember, no matter your age, your beauty has never gone dim.